Great to have you with us tonight, folks. Thanks for watching The Ed Show. Herman Cain has launched another tirade against the 99% movement. The former CEO of Godfather's Pizza blasted the Occupy Wall Street protesters during a book signing in St. Petersburg, Florida last night. And according to the Associated Press, Herman Cain called the Occupy Wall Street protesters un-American. The pizza man doesn't have a clue because he hasn't been there. While Herman Cain has been touring the country on his presidential campaign/book tour, I've been out there with the folks, and I know that they are not un-American. And I'll let you be the judge.
What this is the 99%. This is the vast majority of the American people.
The capital of the world is getting a hell of a lot of attention right now in terms of the mistreatment and the unfair burden that's being placed on working families.
Why are you here?
To tax the rich.
Tax the rich? They're not paying their fair share?
They're not paying their fair share.
I'm here because they stole our pensions and I want our money back.
This divide is greater than anything that anybody has experienced.
There are Republicans here, there are Democrats here. This is not about a party. This is about a movement to take it back to the people.
I'm here because Wall Street robbed us.
They robbed you?
Yes, they did. They took all the money from the working people that you talk about every night.
Now, just so we're clear about that crowd, you saw two executives, an engineer, a teacher, and a nurse. The crowd on Wall Street is what America is all about. They're all walks of life down there, folks, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Everybody I met was concerned about jobs and fairness. I guess you could say all part of the American dream. Herman Cain and the Republicans, they don't understand why Americans are taking to the streets and all for social and economic justice. President Obama does, and today he addressed the protests for the first time.
I think it expresses the frustrations that the American people feel, that we had the biggest financial crisis since the Great Depression, huge collateral damage all throughout the country, all across Main Street, and yet you're still seeing some of the same folks who acted irresponsibly trying to fight efforts to crack down on abusive practices that got us into this problem in the first place.
Seems to me President Obama clearly understands why people are angry in this country, and he knows this could have a major impact on the 2012 election.
The American people understand that not everybody's been following the rules. That Wall Street is an example of that. That folks who are working hard every single day, getting up, going to the job, loyal to their companies, that used to be the essence of the American dream. These days, a lot of folks who are doing the right thing aren't rewarded, and a lot of folks who aren't doing the right thing are rewarded. And that's going to express itself politically in 2012 and beyond.
The president is trying to tax millionaires and billionaires. He's trying to create jobs. He's trying to rebuild schools, roads, and bridges. This is exactly what the protest movement wants, an investment in American workers. Herman Cain, he doesn't give a damn about the 99% of Americans. He's got a 999 plan, and it's nothing more than a gift to the top 1% in financial institutions who put Americans out on the street. So if you're out of a job and you're out on the street, Herman Cain says, actually, it's your fault.
I don't have facts to back this up, but I happen to believe that these demonstrations are planned and orchestrated to distract from the failed policies of the Obama administration. Don't blame Wall Street. Don't blame the big banks. If you don't have a job and you're not rich, blame yourself.
Blame yourself. If you don't have a job, just blame yourself. Pay attention to our text poll tonight. You'll like it. The stupidity of Herman Cain's statement is astounding. Americans are out of work because corporations are hiding $1.2 trillion offshore and not being taxed for it. Americans are out of work because Republicans in Congress, you see, they just want to beat this president more than anything else, more than creating jobs. The pizza man's conspiracy theory about the protests being orchestrated to distract from the president's policies, well, that's absolute garbage. But it is interesting that Herman Cain knows a thing or two about orchestrated protests. Here's how radio talk show host Herman Cain described President Obama's policies at an orchestrated Tea Party rally with Sean Hannity in April of 2010.
It fits into what I would call anti-American, anti-constitutional, anti-Declaration of Independence. That's what it fits into.
Anti. Herman Cain obviously doesn't know what the word un-American means. President Obama and the Occupy Wall Street movement want to make America fair again for all Americans. They want to stop the 30-year onslaught on the middle class for the benefit of the top 1%. It's un-American to rig the system for corporate CEOs and Wall Street traders. It's un-American to lie about the president's religion and birthplace. It's un-American to always put politics ahead of country. Herman Cain and the Republicans could learn a lesson from the people I met yesterday down on Wall Street. I do believe, Mr. Cain, if you had gone down there instead of gone and visited Donald Trump, you might know what the hell you're talking about. In this case, you have no credibility until you get down there with your conservative buddies and broadcast from there. That's what America is all about, going to the people. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Pay attention to this one, folks. If Herman Cain is without a job in November of 2012, should he blame himself? Text A for yes, text B for no to 622-639. You can always go to our blog at ed.msnbc and make a comment. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. Let's bring in Laura Flanders, host of Free Speech TV, and John Nichols, Washington correspondent of The Nation magazine. Why are both of you giggling at that? That's a heck of a question.
Because, Ed, I think you might get your first 100% result.
I think you're missing something very important.
We've had a 98 a couple of times.
I think you're going to 100%.
I've never gotten a 99, but I've gotten a 98. All right.
I thought you were going to ask the question, is Herman Cain just annoyed because the pizza these folks are getting from all over the world isn't his pizza?
That's right. Yeah. Laura, what do you make of this? The protests on Wall Street, they're expanding to other, cities. It looks like it's, got legs, a life of its own. The unions are involved in it now. Where is it going?
It's got legs, arms, a brain. And I have to break something to you. This is not about a party or a president. The biggest line, the biggest response that Naomi Klein got down there when she talked today was when she was asked, is this an answer to the Tea Party? And she said, I don't know. I think it's an answer to the Democratic Party. And I think that needs to be understood. While it's great that President Barack Obama was forced to respond, this isn't a movement about who's in the White House. This is about having a house.
Yeah.
It's not about a party. It's about being a part of society, having a part of not just the American dream, but a new plan for the planet.
So, John, are these folks retrievable? Are they going to be politically active? Are they going to be in the next figured in the next election cycle?
They are politically active. I mean, remember that the Bill of Rights was written 2 blocks from where these people are protesting. It was ratified on Wall Street. And so the founders intended politics to be in the street as well as in the polling place. They said the right to assemble. Mm-hmm. I think these people are exercising that right. And my sense is that as this spreads across the country, I think it's going to get very, very big. And you're going to have a lot of people out there who are, in fact, Democrats. You're going to have a lot of people out there who are union folks. But what's wonderful about it is they're going to make a demand. They are making a demand on all politicians. And that is that you step up and that you say something that addresses the concerns that they have. I ultimately think that they're very, very good for this president, because he's going to have to outline his position a lot better than he has.
There was an interesting fellow I met, a union carpenter from Rockaway Beach in Queens, John Baxter, and he said he voted for Barack Obama, but he's been coming to this protest every day because he feels Obama broke his promises. He said, he promised to buy a pair of walking shoes and walk with the folks in Wisconsin. He didn't do that. He's not showed up yet at the Occupy Wall Street. He said he wasn't sure if he was going to vote for Obama again.
Well, Herman Cain. Let's talk about Herman Cain. I mean, the insults just keep on coming from the right-wing broadcasters, keep on coming from, in many respects, the mainstream media. This is Herman Cain tonight with Lawrence walking back his comment on the unemployed.
Some people are unemployed for no fault of their own. I was referring to those people who have chosen to go and demonstrate on Wall Street for whatever reason, and it's not real clear what reasons.
he has no clue what he's talking about.
All you have to do is go down there and listen. I mean, I think we in the media often encourage people to tune in to find out what's true. What is happening down there requires people to go and actually be present. I saw a society being built where there's free healthcare, there's education, there's housing, there is caring that people are finding there that they're not finding anywhere else. And literally the learning circles are extraordinary. People in one corner talking about sort of French factory worker models, over here talking about the end of growth. I mean, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So if Herman Cain can't pick up on any of that, he's just numb.
John, now that the unions are involved, does this ensure that this will not flame out? It won't be just a brush fire, that this really has some substance and some organization to it?
Let's be careful here. This is not going to flame out even if the unions didn't get involved.
You're that confident?
Oh, quite, because I've looked at, there are now more than 720 communities across this country that have started up some kind of Occupy group. It's in Pocatello, Iowa. They've had Occupy Topeka events. Occupy Des Moines has more than 1,000 people signed up. Occupy Iowa City. So it was going. But what did the unions bring? This is a wonderful thing, Ed. Trade unions actually sometimes look at what's going on and decide to get with it.
It's great the unions are there.
It's America's middle class march. It's America's middle class march. I mean, I went down there yesterday for 6 hours, and I had not covered it yet, and I wanted to make sure I got a good flavor of the crowd before we went on the air and did something. And I did the due diligence down there. It's a middle class march in many respects.
And a lot of people said thank you for going.
Yeah,
I did hear that.
Well,
but, you know,
especially
I think
the crowd that was behind me last night.
No, but
you know, after dark, things do change a little down there.
But look at it. The unions moved in a week to make that plan to go and participate. That suddenly sped up the union process.
Right.
But can I pay?
Laura Flanders, John Nichols, always a pleasure. Great to have you with us. Joining us now is James Hoffa Jr., General President of the Teamsters. Mr. Hoffa, good to have you with us. I'll ask you this question. The fact that organized labor is now involved in this, does this ensure that there won't be any flame out here, no burnout? It'll continue.
We want this to continue. This is what it's all about. We've got to call attention to the inequality in this country. This is what this is about. These are basically middle-class people that don't have jobs, that you got kids out there that are going to college, that there's not going to be any jobs for them. The total inequality of our system. They're at the right place. This is Main Street versus Wall Street, and I'm glad to see this. And this is the same thing that we've seen in Wisconsin, the same thing we've seen in Ohio, and thank God it's now hitting Wall Street, and it's getting on the national media and getting everybody's attention. And the fact that it's spreading to Boston, to San Francisco, this is something that can basically be the creation of a movement that we need in this country to basically redress what's going on here and basically go after the Tea Party.
Mr. Hoffa, there's been all kinds of descriptions coming from the right wing. I want you to see this. This is Georgia Congressman Paul Brown describing the protesters today. Here it is.
I see people angry in my district, too, about this attack upon business, attack upon industry, attack upon freedom. And I think that's what this is all about.
What's your reaction to that, Mr. Hoffa?
That's typical Tea Party language, you know, that basically, they can send our jobs overseas, they can hoard money, they can lay off Americans, and that's okay. But if you say anything about it, if you protest, if you get on television, if you show you're angry, there's something wrong with that. This guy's got the wrong idea of what American is. America is to go out and talk about what's good for the middle class and the people that are really hurting out there.
Well, Herman Cains says they're un-American. What's your response? Herman Cains says those protesters are un-American.
There's nothing more American than the type of protests that are going on. People are basically seeing the inequality here. The system is rigged against them, and they're saying enough is enough. We want to change the system. We want fairness. We want equality of sacrifice. We want the billionaires and the millionaires to pay their fair share. That's what this is about.
Is this protest absolutely paralleling that of the middle class and what union workers have been all about all these years?
Absolutely. This is exactly the same thing. You know, we're fighting for fairness right now. The middle class is shrinking in this country. We have so much unemployment right now. The good jobs are being sent to Mexico. And are we just to sit by and say nothing about it? And finally, people are protesting. They're saying that the rich are not paying enough, that the system is rigged against us, that Wall Street is crooked. And you know what? They're right. Everything proves that. And the answer is we've started on a movement. We've got to keep this movement going. This is what we need to get America back where it should be, where basically we have a strong middle class and something that we can be proud of.
Mr. Hoffa, always a pleasure. Good to have you with us tonight. Remember to answer tonight's question there at the bottom of the screen. We want to know what you think. The Democratic and progressives are jumping on the Occupy Wall Street movement. But the next steps are crucial. Van Jones will talk about the movement's future next, and President Obama continues to call out Republicans for obstructing his jobs bill. House Speaker John Boehner is whining that the president is just playing too rough. And later, Rick Perry is finally talking about the racist name associated with his hunting camp. Daily Show co-creator Liz Winstead is here with reaction. Stay with us.